What's going on, everybody? My name is Phantomatic, and today we've got a couple things to talk about today. Now, one, HSR basically announced that we're getting a new path in the game, and it's gonna be Remembrance. You know, that one path where the Eon is literally fully, the Memo Keepers, the Ghost Raider. They go by a lot of names, but yes, Remembrance is a new path coming to the game. And with a new path comes new passive for said path, and so on and so forth. Characters that follow said path. Now, here's to hoping Mr. Rekka becomes a 5-star, because he was absolutely phenomenal in Rafa's storyline. But besides that, we've also got to talk about the newest 5-star called Aglaea, if that's how you pronounce her name. Aglaea, right, my bad, Aglaea. She is the newest 5-star coming in 3.0, along with being the first ever Remembrance character in 3.0. Now, again, the moment I heard new path, new character following said path, the cog wheel started turning. So we have to do a kit prediction, essentially, along with the Remembrance passive prediction as well. A couple predictions today. Now, the last time I did a kit prediction was with Firefly. So I only do this out for two things. One, if it's a character I really like, and two, well, something important like this new path coming to the game. Anyways, let's get right into the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's time to get cooking. So first and foremost, before I even begin the predictions, just remember the abilities of said path doesn't have to exactly follow their in-lore abilities. Now, if I start talking about the Remembrance passive and it sounds a bit like, oh, well, I don't think they did this before, just remember that we don't exactly have to follow their in-lore abilities. So let's say Nihility, somehow you're able to do like 25 backflips, but in lore, it's like, oh, you can only do 15. That doesn't really matter because it's the in-game ability and not the in-lore ability. So yeah, now let's begin with the Remembrance Path passive predictions. Now I have 3 of these. Passive number 1, the path allows Remembrance characters to peer into the near past and allow us to specifically change a part of the past in case a character dies or if you made a mistake you'd want to change. Now, this could also be an ability for a future character. So basically, what I mean by this is that, let's say you accidentally use a character's ultimates when you weren't supposed to. With that said passive of said character, you'd be able to basically kind of go back in time in a sense to rewrite said error. Or if a character gets knocked, oh shoot, you can go back and rewrite basically if that character didn't die, essentially. Now, this is a little, now I know when it comes to passives for said paths, it's more bottom line like, oh, this character is able to heal, or this character has a lot of crazy defenses. Now, I feel like this could potentially shake up the meta, because having a character that can essentially go back in time to rewrite certain errors or to practically save a character it's pretty crazy, because this passive would be a one-time use thing per match. You wouldn't be able to spam it because that'd be pretty broken. So it would be one time per battle, and you can only choose one of the effects. You can choose either to rewrite certain something or bring back a character if they die. Now, this does sound a bit specific, but at the end of the day, it is a prediction. We're supposed to have fun with these kind of things and not taken seriously. But yeah, that's my first passive. Now we have passive number 2. The path can allow Remembrance characters to seal away an enemy specific memory, in this case an ability, for a certain amount of turns, similar to what happened to March 7th's memories. Look, I feel like this is basically the more grounded one. I don't know the word, but I feel like this is the more logical one, right? I do believe this is the more logical passive, because we all know that the Ghost Raider or the Eon Fuli is able to seal away memories and such. So would it not be cool to have that built into the Remembrance passive, where we're able to seal away a certain ability of our choice from that enemy? Let's say before we even start the match, as the match starts, they give us the choice to seal away a certain ability from that enemy for a certain amount of turns. It does sound a bit broken. I I know it does sound a bit broken. However, when it comes to the pats in this game, every single pat currently in the game does what we want them to do. Debuff, buff, heal, defense, DPS, like damage, etc. And like multi-target, single target. It does everything we want it to do. So to add in a pat that can potentially shake up the current system of pats in this game, it's honestly mind-boggling. And look, look at it from this perspective. Every single pat in the game does realistically what you want for like a turn-based RPG. What could Remembrance possibly do to be like, oh shoot, this is crazy? This is a first. You gotta realize this is a first in HSR. HSR has never done this before. So I do believe they're going to go all out and they're going to give us something very unique for this character. Well, not character, but the pat. Hence why I do believe a sealing ability for the pat would be pretty crazy. Would it not? Am I crazy? Would it not be cool to seal away a specific annoying ability? For example, the enemy heals. You can seal away that ability for a certain amount of turns so they can't heal. Or for example, that one Pentaconi boss, I can't remember its name, but can like snatch away your soul and you have to like, you know, attack the certain thing to get back the soul. What if you can seal away that one specific ability from it? It'd be pretty handy, would it not? So that's why I believe passive number 2 as like my theory for passive number 2 would be pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it'd be pretty cool. And last but not least, we have my third passive prediction, which would allow Remembrance characters to peer into the future to analyze what moves the enemies are going to use or which character it's going to attack before their turn starts. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this one I made. It honestly sounds kind of lame to me, like especially for a new pat, it really sounds kind of lame. Would it be the closest prediction? Maybe. I can see HSR doing something like that. However, I do believe passive number 2 still with the sealing ability is by far the best option. Now again, bro, HSR could just probably drop something completely different and I'm just wrong and it's much better, which would be the best outcome instead of me predicting the best option and then it turns out to be lame, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much all my predictions so far for the Path of Remembrance. I do have high hopes for this. I know version 3.0 is going to go insane. Aglaea and Herta, like, come on. So now that we are done with the Remembrance passive prediction, let's get on to Aglaea's kit prediction. Now, as we can clearly see from her drip marketing artwork, she does have mannequins and it seems like she's going to be a summon unit. Is she going to be DPS? Is she going to be support? We don't know. However, I do believe that her role is going to be a summon DPS. Now, as for why I say summon, she's seen being able to wield puppets in her artwork. And when it comes to characters being able to use animals or spirits, etc. in their gameplay, like Jingyuan and Lingsha, it's always basically used as a summon mechanic in a sense. So that's why I believe that she's going to be a summon unit, because again, if we look at her artwork, there's like 3 mannequins around her. But yeah, that's why I solely believe she's going to be a summon unit, because there's no way you're going to have like all these mannequins around you and it's for nothing and it's just for show. And that's for why I say she's going to be a summon DPS, because I do believe that these puppets can most likely be used to attack in her place. Not only that, but they can potentially do some sort of like crazy enhanced damage when she uses her ultimate, and they most likely may also function similar to Lingsha's summon, which is like, so either it's going to deal additional damage or it's going to be dealing most of its damage when it's their turn. But yeah, that is my guess as to what kind of role she's going to be playing in the game. Summon DPS. It may sound a bit wacky, it may sound a bit lackluster, but when you're following a brand new path in the game, I think it's gonna blow my prediction out of the water. Like, I'm completely wrong or like I'm close, but they're gonna cook. I can see it. And also, I feel like we're gonna be focusing a lot more on Remembrance's passive than Aglaea's kit per se, because I think everybody's a lot more excited for a new path coming in Aglaea, even though her art, like her design, is amazing. Definitely a top 5 best, But come on, we're all focusing on Remembrance right now, let's be honest. So yeah, let's get straight into basically her kit. I believe that her basic attack is going to use one of her mannequins to attack an enemy. Pretty simple. Her skill is going to use her mannequins to deal multi-hit attacks to enemies. It may also play into her passive to keep her mannequins on the field or allow her to increase how many mannequins are on the field. So what I mean by this is that when she uses her, so basically she's going to start off with one mannequin, and when she continuously uses her skill, she's going to increase the amount of mannequins on field. So instead of one mannequin, it'll be 2 mannequins, then there'll be the max, which would be 3 mannequins, since we're going off of her artwork, which is 3 mannequins. She could have more, but we'll see if my kit prediction is true or not. So yeah, that's basically why I believe that. And her ultimate is going to attack all enemies on field and will use up all mannequins she accumulated thanks to her skill to deal extra follow-up damage to random enemies on the field. Similar to how Boot Hill deals extra damage thanks to his passive. And the ultimate may enhance the mannequins due to the golden fire in the artwork. I feel like that's going to play some sort of significant role in her kit, which will result in them dealing massive damage to enemies. This is sort of similar to, yeah, I just kind of mix and matched some like Lingsha and Boot Hill. Can clearly tell, but it's a solid ultimate question mark, and I really have not much to say on it. It's definitely an ultimate. And lastly, her passive, which will allow Aglaea to summon her mannequins on field, of course just like Lingsha, and will allow her skill to increase the number of mannequins on screen, and may or may not apply a buff or debuff when attacking. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video. I just kind of wanted to make the video. I'm pretty excited, even though I don't sound like it. Again, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed this little video I did. It's something I wanted to do right at the moment. Anyways, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next Honkai Star Rail video. Signing off.